This is Dominic DeAngelo of WrestleZone.com, and this is an episode of Two Who? Oh, it is Two Dynamite Dudes on a Rampage, and I gotta say, Marcus, hey yo, brother.
Hey yo, Dom. I was wondering why you were doing the very somber intro, and now it's all coming together.
Now it makes a little more sense, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Boy, what a loss! What a loss for the wrestling world. I know, big loss for you on a personal level. I know that you were a huge Scott Hall fan when we were growing up, as was I. I love Scott Hall. Such a great worker. Honestly, I think one of the most underrated workers. Ring skills of all time. And everybody says like, when he was motivated he was good. Even when he wasn't motivated he was still better than most.
He was still really good. Yeah.
Right, still awesome. So love Scott Hall. And rest in peace. I prayed for him. I'll continue to pray for him. Love the bad guy.
Yeah, no, I wanted to take some time a little bit to talk about him actually. Yeah, basically, Marcus.
Hey, Dom, real quick, let's just say hi to everybody jumping in that show. What's up? Thank you for joining us. John Howard missed it last week. He was motherfucking himself, but he's here now.
Oh, man.
And Jason Michael Campbell, what's up, buddy? Guys, thank you all for joining us. Glad to have you here. And let's talk some wrestling. First, let's talk a little Scott Hall.
So Marcus, I was thinking as I was writing up these, what you see down on the ticker tape there. So I was writing these up when I wrote that one out. Or no, I'm sorry, when I was writing out the whole just outline for the show. I wrote, hey, this is Scott Hall is the sole reason that me and you, he's the reason we're here.
He really is.
Think about it.
100%.
100%. Scott Hall is the only reason Marcus and I are here and doing what we're doing.
Ed, why don't you explain that a little?
Sure. So, Marcus and I, we were very young. 5 years old. I kind of tuned into wrestling, and I did get into it courtesy of Hulk Hogan, but then I fell out of it. 5 years, 4 years, whatever. And then I just remember flicking through the channels, and there's this guy on there, slick black hair, just cool as shit looking, and he just was beating up some guy. It was WWF program, and it was Razor Ramon. And I remember my dad being like, hey, that guy's really cool. And I was like, yeah, he is pretty damn cool. And all of a sudden, there it was again. And when I transferred from Catholic school to public school, one of my good buddies, Bob Butterfuss, happened to be a big wrestling fan as well. And that really got the ball rolling. And so therefore, I always liked Razor Ramon. Marcus was kind of trying to find who he was liking. And
well, it really started for me around late 97 because I remember you were tuning into WCW to watch Scott Hall. And I was like, wait, is this WWF? I didn't understand it. I was still pretty young. And you're like, no, it's another company. And they're sort of like WWF. They do wrestling too. And Scott Hall works for them now. Razor Ramon works for them now. I was like, oh, cool. And he was tag teaming with Randy Savage. And me being the younger brother, I always wanted to be like Dom. When he said that he liked Emmett Smith, I was like, well, I like Troy Aikman and I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm still a Cowboys fan and he's not.
I'm not. I'm a Jets fan.
But so he was tag teaming with Randy Savage because Nash was out injured or something at the time. And I was like, okay, I like Randy Savage. But then I found out that Kevin Nash was Scott Hall's tag team partner. And ever since, I've been a huge Kevin Nash fan. So Scott Hall, legitimately, 100% is the reason that Dominic and I are wrestling fans.
Exactly. And so, yeah, Marcus, I have it right here, too. I wanted to show this. I think it was in Altoona, PA. At maybe a KB toy store. One of the toy stores in Altoona, PA. We got this figure. The Razor Ramon Bone Cruncher.
That exact one.
This exact one. And Marcus, I have this exact figure you got too. Somewhere we'll put. Yep, right here. What's this? For you fans that can't see, these are the bone crunching action figures. Bret the Hitman Hart. Exact one.
Exact one we had as kids.
And so that's really what got the ball rolling. So we were big wrestling figure collectors and all that stuff. And so
Dom, we're losing people.
Are we?
Nash wants us to jump to Thunder Rosa. We're talking Tom Brady.
Yes.
So we can hammer on, but God bless Scott Hall. Generational talent. Honestly, I'm trying to think if anybody could ever do what he did again, and no, probably not.
What would you say is your favorite Scott Hall moment?
It's one that I remember watching live very, very distinctly, and I still laugh about it every time I watch it. I can't help myself. Both him and Nash are hilarious. I'm sure you know where I'm going.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Spring Break 1998. They were both at Club La Vila. They're both wearing like Hawaiian shirts and shorts that they picked up on the way there. Kevin Nash tells a story that they were in a rented Sebring convertible, and they just were drinking the whole way there. And they got there, and they were very tuned in by the time they got to Spring Break. And they're both in the ring, and you can just see how like they're both drunk, but they're having so much fun, and they're being hilarious. At one, like Scott Hall grabs the mic first, and he's like, "Somebody say something about spring break." Like the crowd goes nuts. And then when Nash is like calling out the Giant, and Scott Hall takes the mic, he's like, "Hey Giant, that's your cue." And then the Giant came out. It was just an incredible, hilarious moment. Kevin Nash, once the Giant came out, Nash was like, "Oh, if I wasn't wearing these flip flops, I'd kick your ass." It was just incredible. So yeah, I think that because of the memories attached to it, that's probably my favorite Hall and Nash moment.
I think Marcus, Eric Bischoff said to this on to Fox 54 at like in Augusta, Georgia. There, I was reading it. He was just saying like how much attention to detail Scott Hall had, like little nuances and stuff in the ring and everything like that. And it made him one of a kind. And like you look at people that were influenced by him. The Rock wrote a whole bunch about him on Instagram.
Yeah, honestly, I think he had genius level intellect. I think he was a really, really sharp guy in general. And then when it came to ring psychology and like doing things that make sense in spite of what everybody refers to as wrestling sense, he was doing things that like as a shoot make sense. And he was doing it on purpose. And yeah, I mean, just a really, really bright guy. John Howard saying that he was a fan of his younger days, fan of Hall, Macho Man Warrior, quit watching for years. One day, fellow coworker was always doing the Rock's eyebrow and the thumbs
back of RVD.
Right. Yes. So that's how he got back into it. Yeah, that RVD stuff is fantastic.
Oh, I did that.
But yeah, you're right. The Rock has come right out and credited Scott Hall with a lot of his stuff, and you can see it in The Rock's work actually.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
His punches specifically are just like completely ripped off of Scott Hall. Yep. So really cool.
Nate Johnson says Hall was a fucking beast in AWA, mind you. He did have a perfect partner to help him. Ooze Machismo. That's correct. Him and Kurt Hennig way back.
There's a picture that came out on the internet that I had never seen before Hall passed away of him with Magnum TA. Magnum TA was not a small man, but he's standing beside Scott Hall, and he looks like a kid next to Scott Hall. Now, this was when Scott Hall was juicing, and I think he's admitted that he was juicing when he was in AWA.
Oh, he definitely was. You could definitely tell.
I mean, Magnum TA is probably like 6'3", but Scott Hall was, as a shoot, like 6'7", maybe closer to 6'8", and just jacked. Just massive. So like he was just like looming over Magnum TA. It's like, holy shit. Like, look at the size of him. You kind of forget how big Scott is, especially because he was always standing next to Kevin Nash.
They really do. And like, oh yeah, Hall was a big guy. And you know, like for his size to be able to do what he did and just get a character over and just, you know, introduce the Razor Ramon / Tony Montana Scarface character and get that in its own right. And you know, from him to transition from that to being the founding member of the NWO, it's like Scott Hall was my guy, and I had a rough week covering everything. But you know, I was happy I was able to do it because he's the only reason I'm here, and I'm very appreciative. And yeah, God bless Scott Hall. You'll always be in my prayers. So yeah, guys. But yeah.
Stephen Chambers saying he can only drop in for a few minutes, but rest in peace, Scott Hall. Saying best match was the ladder match. Worst gimmick was American Starship. He was Starship Coyote. Dan Spivey was Starship Eagle. Dom, let's just real quick before we get out of this and start talking Dynamite. What was Scott Hall's best match to you, and what was his worst gimmick? We'll say.
Worst gimmick? Geez, I don't know.
Maybe Gator Scott.
I was gonna say Gator Scott, just because I remember seeing the Rock and wrestling thing with him, and like just being like, that's not that's not all.
Damn, that is not good.
But from a personal standpoint, That's kind of tough for me to call. I mean, like, I kind of have an affection. It's weird. I have an affection for the WrestleMania 18 match, even though Hall and Austin aren't too big of fans of that. But I just remember just Hall being my guy and him fighting the biggest star in wrestling at that point in time and being like, that's pretty awesome. But
I'll tell you what, a lot of people knock the bump that he took whenever he took the stunner where he goes flying.
That's a great bump.
Air. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And like everybody still talks about it. People share clips about it all the time because it's like, what a bump. It was awesome.
It's a great bump. And
I loved it.
I think, I keep thinking about Royal Rumble 1993 and him fighting Bret the Hitman Hart in that world title match. And like the story that those two told in the ring together, it's just really, I really, really like that one. The ladder match is always great too. It's always a good one to lean on, but there's just so many little things that Hall does in his matches that you're just like, man, that makes his match great. And so it's very hard for me to choose. I think if I had to choose, I think it would be Royal Rumble 1993. So
good match.
Yeah, good match. Good match.
All right, we can hammer on here.
Yes.
Jason Michael Campbell saying he didn't really see Scott Hall. Thought he was known as a Diamond Stud in WCW. He was the Diamond Stud. Then he went and became Razor Ramon. Then he came back to WCW to start the NWO as Scott Hall.
Mm-hmm. Would you have liked it, Marcus, if they gave him one last run as almost like a Razor Ramon, like with his look? Would there be a reason to come back for that? Like if he came back in 2002 in like kind of a dream scenario?
Well, you know what's funny is that this was actually the topic of conversation online after one of the more recent Something to Wrestle With episodes with Bruce Pritchard on adfreeshows.com they were talking about No Way Out 2002 and the return of the NWO, and Bruce Pritchard contends nobody wanted to see the NWO. People wanted to see Hulkamania, they wanted to see Diesel, and they wanted to see Razor Ramon. And I'm like, I don't agree with that, because I think that those guys, I mean, really, Scott Hall's legacy is not Razor Ramon as much as it is NWO. And same thing with Kevin Nash. Now you could argue one way or the other for Hogan, but Hall and Nash, it's NWO is their legacy. That being said, I think that if Scott Hall had been able to stick around for a couple years, I think that you could have transitioned him into the Razor Ramon gimmick.
And you know what? Hindsight's kind of 2020, I think, in that, because I remember being very excited for the NWO to show up.
If you had booked it properly, what's more exciting than the biggest group in the history of professional wrestling coming to the biggest promotion now in the history of professional wrestling? Right. It's like we never had the Four Horsemen in WWE. How cool would that have been?
That would have been awesome. But like you think about it, Hogan got over as that's basically what they did then. The fans wanted to see Hogan back as Hulkamania.
I think it could have continued to work though with X-Pac in there, X-Pac,
and you would introduce like a new member, a younger new member in it.
And by the way, they brought back Shawn Michaels shortly thereafter, and the first thing he did was join NWO. And I'm like, that works. He's in the clique. It works. If he had come to WCW, he would have joined NWO.
It could have been a very interesting ripple if they handled it right. But I think they did have some ability and some legs. Scott Hall went back to Razor. You could still call him Scott Hall, but he's got the Razor look, the Razor tire, all that stuff. Same with Nash. Nash kind of did it in a way, but
Nash became Big Daddy Cool again in 2003,
2011 too. Yeah.
Rich is saying when Scott Hall got sick on the air, that was a bad gimmick. And Eric Bischoff has admitted that he regrets that. Where they were kind of playing off his alcoholism a little bit, and it wasn't right. But is what it is. Nesh is ready to move the fuck on.
Ready to move on.
Let's roll.
Sorry, but I gotta talk about my favorite wrestler of all time.
No. Any closing thoughts before we move off of?
No, it's just like it's gonna be weird moving forward. As a fan, this is the guy that brought me in, and I remember too being in college and everything like that. From 98 on, it was like you were looking for Hall and his personal issues, and I just being concerned as a fan for that many years. And it was really nice to see him find his road to recovery back with Diamond Dallas Page. And it's really sad how it all ended for him. And I'll love Scott Hall till the end. So my all-time fave, man.
Absolutely. Sylvania, welcome. Thank you for joining. And yeah, Nesha, she's right. We could talk all night about him. I mean, there's plenty of topics to cover when it comes to Scott Hall, but we'll move along. Something a little more upbeat.
Correct. So, Marcus, we got together for the first time. Has it been since Christmas? It's been since Christmas.
Yeah.
We watched Thunder Rosa defeat Britt Baker in a steel cage on the anniversary of the St. Patrick's Day Slam Lights Out match, in which she now becomes the AEW Women's World Champion. And Marcus loved it. Very happy for Thunder Rosa, friend of the show.
Show.
And now she's champ. She's at the tippy top of AEW's women's division and on that road to even more major stardom. What'd you think overall, Marcus?
I thought it was great. I don't know that you'd call the match itself like a 5-star masterpiece. Really, it was more of like one of those interesting train wrecks of a match that you'd like to watch. It comes closer to like being a masterpiece in the way that Mick Foley and Hell in a Cell does. You know what I mean? Where it was just like it was fun to watch. It was exciting, and it was a moment that I don't think anybody's ever going to forget. Like the confetti coming down, her getting emotional afterwards. They did like the which I thought was brilliant. They did like the false finish where she gave Britt Baker her finisher, but the ref was unavailable or something. And then it's like, oh, this feels like a swerve, doesn't it? So they sort of swerved us that it was going to be a swerve. And yeah, it was a great moment. Awesome to see her really get her just due. And, it's like I've been saying on the podcast, you roll with a talent like that and you get a talent like that over even more by putting a title on her. It's a big deal, and she could become a huge, huge, huge figure in wrestling if they play this right.
Absolutely. And Mark, I mean, how they set up the whole entrances and stuff like that. Thunder Rosa coming up to the mariachi band, and then being in San Antonio, all that stuff, and like Britt with her homage to Scott Hall, really cool, and all that stuff. The tone was set for that main event, and it felt special. And that cage coming down and everything. Like I said, that's the first ever AEW women's cage match. And that's maybe the third if you're counting I think it's the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks at All Out.
Is it the first women's cage match ever?
Yes. Well, no, I don't think so. I bet you think about it, like there was the Hell in a Cell matches with Bayley and Sasha.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been women's cage matches before, but this first ever AEW women's cage match.
Pretty awesome.
It set there was, when those moments happen, you want to make them select and few in between. So they waited for a good moment to have a cage match, and this made perfect sense. And to have Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, two women who have been feuding for well over a year, it's definitely a good payoff. Great payoff.
Really, that feud where it's like they're not constantly at each other's throats, but there's tension and they don't like each other, and they'll it's you could feel that between them, and so that kind of feud is what's perfect, and it's what I've been saying about AEW and kind of how they should play the long-term storylines, and they did. This is a storyline that's a year in the making, a year to the day since they had their bloody blackout match or whatever they call it. Lights out match.
Unsanctioned.
Right. It was awesome. So yeah, couldn't be more happy for friend of the show, Thunder Rosa. She's got her just due, and I truly believe that this could be the start of something really, really huge.
Who do you want to see her go up against next?
She needs to go over against dangerous heels, in my opinion. So I mean, I'd love to see her beat Jade Cargill. But Jade is on her own really special.
And I think Jade's kind of like we were talking about. She's more leaning towards that babyface line of things. And her with the TBS title, I think just makes sense to keep them separate at this moment in time anyways.
I mean, I know that Serena Deeb is going into a program with Sheeta. But really, ultimately, I think that Serena Deeb should come out on top in that program and then immediately come back after Thunder Rosa. Because let me tell you, those two are putting on hellacious matches.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. I'm trying to think who else that they could bring in or that they could put into the mix. I mean, Ruby Soho, where's she been? That's where I'd love to see, maybe her just go up against the two baby faces, duke it out too at some point. Maybe not her first feud, but like maybe you can mix that in there. You know what I mean?
John Howard's asking what happened to Awesome Kong. Dom, I think she's retired from wrestling, right?
Yeah, she's retired from wrestling. I think she's just dealing with a lot of injuries.
And her acting career was really taken off with Glow.
Yeah, unfortunately, that show's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
But you think about it. Gail Kim's all retired, and so same with Awesome Kong.
Tell you who'd be really fun to see Thunder Rosa have a feud with is Mickie James.
Well, that would be good. Hey, Forbidden Door, man. Hey, how about Deonna Purrazzo coming in? That'd be real good too.
Hell yeah, Deonna Purrazzo. I wouldn't mind seeing her against Chelsea Green.
Yeah,
there are a lot of really talented women out there.
Tasha Steelz, who's the current Impact champ, she's awesome. That would be two Latinas going at it too. Would be great. Like you could really play into that and have something really good there. Geez, oh man, there's a lot of talented women, especially Impact. Their knockouts division is awesome. Like Jordynne Grace, you bring her in there.
I was going to mention Jordynne Grace. Yeah, she looks like she could be very dangerous. Just because of her physical strength. So yeah, that would be fun.
Even if it's
Rick,
just for
Rick is saying Layla Hirsch.
Oh, see, that would be good. Yeah, you gotta really get her cooking though. I think put the heat on under her and make her just start annihilating people. Like it was cool that she won at Revolution in the opener there. But yeah, I think you got to keep up with that to really make her seem like a viable force against Thunder Rosa. So
I wouldn't mind seeing Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker a little bit more. I wouldn't mind
it. I think though, cage match, there's something to be said
to blow off.
Leave it off at the blow off. You know what I mean?
It is a good blow off. Mm-hmm. I agree.
So
it's Chris Statlander. I think there are so many talented women there. Yeah, it could be a lot of fun options.
Think of some cool, unique matches that they could that she hasn't maybe encountered or ran in with yet.
I don't think she's wrestled Chris Statlander, and Chris Statlander is really coming into her own. She's physically intimidating, I would say, for most women. So yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun.
No, there's certain ones that you can really get excited for. I'm pumped. I'm just happy she's the champ.
Who finally unseats Jade Cargill?
That's tough. I think it should be a while down the road, right? I almost would want to see somebody new.
Yeah, in my opinion, just like with Goldberg, to me, the only person that should have gone over against Goldberg would have been somebody like they brought in Bam Bam Bigelow. I wouldn't have minded that. I wouldn't have minded Sid in 1999.
I would have definitely minded Sid, and I love Bam Bam Bigelow, but I don't think
Sid is money. I know the whole
Marcus,
softball.
Come on.
The whole softball thing.
Sid's all right. Like Sid's got a presence and a look about him, but I mean,
his crazy
Marcus, where was
Sid shtick was there? It was incredible.
What's the payoff for Sid winning on that?
Here's the deal, Dom. Is somebody's got to beat Goldberg.
And is this WCW rewritten, by the way?
it's got to be somebody credible. I'm saying Sid. Damn it, we're going back to 1998. Let's get back on track.
I'm saying DDP maybe because you're building up. You want to build up a star, and DDP they put the world title on. Eventually, he should have won. He should.
I could see DDP being a good one. Bret Hart.
Yeah, that's another one too. All right. People are agreeing. Chelsea Green, Ruby Soho. Jordynne Grace. Speaking of Jordynne Grace, let's see what Jason's thinking. I think she needs to just drop her husband and call for somebody else.
I think Jason is referring to himself, Dominic.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. I mean, the stuff that women get on there is just creepy and crazy. Did you see some of that stuff?
Oh, like the message. We're not. By the way, we're not saying that Jason does this sort of thing. Just a joke. It's a lot of the. If you're a fan of somebody, I think that you kind of. Some people are out there crossing the line a little bit. Yeah. John Howard saying Tank Abbott should be Goldberg.
Oh my gosh, I liked Tank Abbott. I did like Tank Abbott as a presence. You know what I mean? But
wait a minute. Jason is saying that Sid is.
That's what I was about to look at. Yeah. That's what I was about to look at.
I didn't hear about that. What's funny is, 2 days ago, I was wondering why he isn't in the Hall of Fame yet.
Unless they just announced this. Did they just announce this there, Jason?
If that's true, that's exciting.
I'm going to take a gander here, look at the old Twitter machine. But, Marcus, any more thoughts? Thunder Rosa, friend of the show, super happy that she brought us together. Finally,
You brought us together, Dom.
You got to meet my girlfriend. It all worked out.
Yeah, it was good times. Good to get down there and good to see Thunder Rosa get the win.
Yes.
There is nobody that works harder or is more deserving.
Big congratulations, Thunder Rosa.
Dom, Nesh's confirming Sid. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Wow, how about that?
Dom, the master and ruler of the world.
When did this just happen? Because I covered today. I was on duty today. I did not see anything. Rick, good luck on your Hall of Fame.
And you have half the brain, or I have half the brain that you do.
That's another great Scott Hall moment.
Yeah. And Nash has got like the really shitty makeup on and he's laughing at Sid. It's just, those two had some
Rick not cool.
Yeah. I like Sid. I do.
I like Sid too, but if there to be Goldberg, I don't Marcus. There's no.
And Hall and Nash said the same thing about him, by the way. Like, dude, Sid is money, especially in that like crazy guy gimmick, where he was like blinking a lot, and he was just like he played it perfectly. He seemed like an unstable psychopath. And that music he came out to, I love Sid, dude. He was money.
Who would you? Okay, here we go. Here's how you tie this in. Who would you have Sid manage in AEW?
If we brought Sid into AEW,
he could be manage / help enforce.
I was gonna say like he should be somebody's heavy if he's coming in. I think he's still in really great shape actually. From what
a couple years ago he came out and carbombed like Heath Slater.
That was 10 years ago. But,
was that 10 years ago?
Yeah, but but he looked great. But yeah, I mean it's Sid couldn't really manage himself back in the day. I can't picture him managing somebody else. but no, it's I don't know. I guess. I mean, Pillman Jr. is interesting, especially, if they start to make Pillman like a loose cannon or whatever, a little bit like his dad, and then you've got crazy Sid in the background doing his blinky thing.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
That wouldn't be too shabby.
But yeah, so dude, imagine Sid managing somebody on one side and Arn managing somebody on the other side. That would be a wild scene.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Right. That is one reason why Sid will never come. Well, actually, he came to work for WCW when Arn was backstage. So, who knows? Maybe it's squashed.
Maybe it's squashed. Hey, I wasn't going to follow this with the next topic, but it's a good segue. Speaking of managers, FTR made quite the hint.
Oh, that is a good segue.
Dynamite, did they not? When they were talking about tag teams, and they made a best there is comment, right?
It's stirred up a lot of talk about Bret Hart being their new manager. And I mean, it would be great. And we all know that those guys love Scott Hall. There is Scott Hall, Bret Hart. Before we hammer on with that though, Dominic, what becomes of Tully Blanchard now? Is he just done?
Maybe he's gone for a little bit. Maybe they'll bring him back then too, Yeah. I would like to see him still in the mix. I think there's still plenty of I think he adds so much to the product. It's kind of a shame because he's a great manager for FTR, but they didn't really showcase him a lot. Like he was just, he had match, don't get me wrong, which was cool and stuff like that. But you wanted to see more of Tully cutting promos and talking and things like that. Maybe we'll see him come up again with somebody in the Pinnacle, of which what's the status on that? But maybe, MJF will introduce some new people or something like that. But I would very much like to see Tully Blanchard still there, still doing stuff because, he was
awesome.
Mm-hmm. A lot of gas in that promo tank for him. So
Dom, John Howard's asking about, and the name is escaping me for whatever reason. I know exactly who he's talking about. He looks like the dude with the crazy hair. Looks like Bruiser Brody.
Nick Camarado.
There it is, Nick Camarado. Yeah, he's been bouncing around a little bit. The dude's a beast.
No doubt. That would be a good somebody for Tully to manage. Somebody like that. Give him that would be pretty damn cool, actually. That's how you get somebody cooking like that. Let's see. What's Jason saying here? I watched Sid's son on Big Brother. When they went to his family, Sid talked. He sounded like one awesome guy out of character. I bet he is. Scott Hall was always good friends with them. Yeah, Scott Hall was always good friends with them. and like yeah, he seemed like an all right dude. You know what I mean?
I think Sid's biggest issue and like the reason he got like so much perceived heat in wrestling was I don't know that he was especially passionate about wrestling. I think really it was like, well, I'm a huge guy. I'm in great shape. I can make a lot of money doing this, so I'll do this.
Yeah, he loves softball though.
He did love softball.
Mm-hmm.
We hammer on.
Hammer on.
Oh yeah, Bret Hart. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean that would be something else, man. Especially because we know how much those guys love Bret Hart. Excellence of execution, and those guys certainly kind of fit that mold when it comes to tag team wrestling.
And heck, they're sure positioning as baby phases because who confronted them but the Young Bucks? I was taking some digs at them. So I mean, I kind of like this role reversal here, where it's like back when FTR showed up, Bucks were the baby faces and FTR were the heels. Now we got a different flip of the coin there.
Could be the start of some much needed, I think that just by having Bret Hart with those guys as well, it's going to give them more attention. It's going to kind of force more TV time for them. So I love the idea. Dom, speaking of them, did you hear about, okay, we're actually going to talk about this next, facing the Briscoes at Ring of Honor.
Yes, Supercard.
Where is that?
That's in Dallas, baby.
No, I mean, where at in Dallas?
Oh, I just saw the name of the center that they were at. I'd have to look it up.
I got a feeling we're going to be a little too busy to go, Dom.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's that night.
It is.
Yes, it is April 1st. So
the night of the Super Show Live.
Yes. Marcus, we did.
Live.com.
Yeah. We did go to the Supercard, though, when we were in New Orleans.
Oh, was that? I thought we were at House of Hardcore.
We did House of Hardcore, but we also went to the Supercard. Did we not?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Nope. I don't remember going to that.
Oh, man. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I went to the Madison Square Garden in New York City. Yeah, I can't remember. Okay. Let's see here. Yes, Jason says he enjoyed Tully and Arn against each other. Yeah,
it was fun.
I think there's still more to that, right?
A lot of fun.
Let's see. And then he also says, but now FTR fired him, possibly going to Hardys. Yes, exactly.
What about Arn and Bret Hart? They used to have some tag team clashes back in the day. It could be fun to see them button heads a little bit.
You gotta have to turn Arn heel.
Like 1989, 1990, Arn and Bret Hart, WWF, Brainbusters, and the Hart Foundation. They had some battles.
They had little scuffles there. Hart would definitely be good for FTR. He's got plenty of stroke in the business. Oh man, yes, I'm going to.
Oh my goodness!
Geez, my
goodness!
Jeez, Rich.
Mute him, Dom.
Jeez. Oh my goodness. No, I would love Bret Hart back in the wrestling fold, especially in AEW. I mean, you think about it, he's the first to present the AEW title.
Yeah, and it opens up the door for more Bret Hart action figures, which is not a thing that anybody hates.
Nope. And plus, with the Owen Hart Cup coming up, it just seems like it
feels like a layup.
David Hart Smith potentially in the mix here.
I'll tell you what, that is a talent that I cannot believe has been on the market for as long as he has.
And Marcus, he's a good promo now.
He is. Yeah. He's in tremendous shape.
He's in tremendous shape. He's a good promo. He's good babyface. I mean, MLW, no joke. I want to say it was 2019. He was my wrestler of the year. From an in-ring work standpoint, the guy put on match after match after match consistently. That was impressive. And it's beautifully done.
Dom, how would you feel about it if Flying Brian Jr., FTR, and Harry Smith all joined forces with Bret Hart as a manager and called themselves the Hart Family?
That'd be great.
Or Marcus, better yet, like WCW rewritten, the Hart Dungeon.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, Marcus, hey, we can give Tony Khan permission to use that, right?
I'll sign over the copyright.
Hey, there we go. It's there, Hart Dungeon. You got it. All right. Let's see what. Okay, so now we got to cover this, Marcus. Jeez, oh man. Cody Rhodes reportedly signing with WWE.
Boy, what a week! What a week, Dominic. We're covering a lot of shit here.
We're covering a lot of ground, and he's supposed to apparently appear at WrestleMania. A lot of people are speculating he'll be fighting Seth Rollins, and then Fightful has reported to confirm that he is slated to be on the Raw after Mania. So, Marcus, from this whole perspective, I guess we've had a lot of speculation. We thought it was a work for some point. we thought it was legit at some point. We didn't know what the hell was going on at some point. We still pretty much kind of don't, but we got a little bit of like PW Insider confirmed it that they had, confirmation that Cody was signed, and then, Fightful followed up with all this stuff. So
Jason Michael Campbell Dom is saying that people are still calling it a work. Let's just play pretend here. I don't think it is at this point. I did for a long time. Imagine if this is a work. Like, imagine if the people within AEW were leaking that to PW Insider, and just like playing games until Cody's big return. I mean, that would be huge, historic. If all of a sudden, we're expecting him at WrestleMania and he shows up for AEW. I mean, like if he showed up at AEW this Wednesday, just randomly, as we're all expecting him this weekend in Dallas at WrestleMania, or the following weekend in Dallas and WrestleMania.
I mean, that would be fantastic. I mean, if I had the choice, I would be like, I want Cody in AEW.
100%.
I want him in AEW.
I've said it before. I think he's top 5 worker in the world.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember what I was hearing, but like something about him, like just being like that. What we talk about, that classic mentality of wrestling matches and how they worked it. I can't remember where I read something, but there was somebody that was relating to it and just being like, Cody's like that old school guy. So
Eric Bischoff was saying it's just like his dad, though, what he's doing, where it's like, hey, if this isn't working for me, I'm fucking leaving. And I don't. He's saying I don't need AEW. I can go make it work on my own. And it is a very Dusty move.
It is. Nesha says she'll believe it when she sees it. She also says 2 weeks till Mania. Let's see what John Howard says here. When Orton punted Ted Jr. in the skull and Cody was looking in awe, crowd chanted Cody to do something and he bounced. That could have made Cody in WWE. I agree. That's a great. I forgot about that, John.
100%. That was the moment to make Cody Rhodes step up. That would have been the moment to turn him into the star that he should have been in WWE.
Right.
So yeah, disappointing that they dropped the ball there. Let's hope they don't drop the ball with him this time. To me, this is a layup. Dom, I saw something really funny online though, where there was a picture of Bret Hart at WrestleMania 9 with Hulk Hogan, and he's pointing for Hogan to go into the ring. And somebody was saying that Bret Hart is Brock Lesnar and Hogan is Cody Rhodes going after Roman Reigns. I was like, that would be quite something.
Yeah.
John,
good call on that.
Yeah, it was. Boy Nash is pointing out 2 weeks till Mania, baby.
Man, it's crazy to think we're gonna be in Dallas at that point.
It is. 12. I'm leaving in 12 days.
12 days. Jeez, if you're leaving in 12,
you're leaving.
Wait, is that
11.
serious? Are you serious? I'm leaving in 11 days.
Yes.
Oh my god.
You're ready. Start packing.
I know. I bought a new shirt and everything.
New shirt,
and pants. I gotta look snazzy for press stuff. Let's see. Okay, Marcus. Hey, also we got to see the Hardys AEW in-ring debut against Private Party. Pretty cool. Pretty damn cool, man. Jeff Hardy's very over.
And Jeff Hardy getting a pop for receiving a tag. That kind of tells you all you need to know about that signing.
Right. Exactly. You cannot pass that up. And no, I'm looking forward to what they're doing. They're tagging up with Sting and Darby against Butcher, Blade, and Private Party in a 8-man tornado tag match.
Gee, who goes over?
Yeah. I was trying to reason if there would be a way for Andrade's family office to go over, but I don't see it. Impossible.
Never happened.
Yep. But no, I
don't think Sting has lost yet in AEW, right?
I mean, that lines him up for a title shot, does it not?
Yeah. It does. I mean, he's only really been in tag team situations, so in theory, it lines him up for a tag team title shot.
Yeah, well, I wonder, are they even in the tag team ranks?
I wouldn't hate Sting as a tag team champion either, by the way.
I wouldn't hate Sting as any champion, but preferably AEW World Champion, because you can definitely get some, like I said last week, it's if you have him in your title history, I think that's pretty damn cool.
It is cool.
And why not, if he's doing what he is right now, like taking dives and like doing some bumps and like still looking like Sting, I don't see any wrong reason to do that.
I don't think they'll ever do it though, because I think that really necessitates an increased schedule and increased singles matches.
It's a good point. It does, and you want to increase those expectations. I mean, you could have him win it, give him one successful title defense, and then drop the belt though too, or something.
Oh, and like vacate the belt and then put it out, put up a tournament, Dom. I know a lot of wrestling fans don't like tournaments. I love them.
I do too. I That's one thing I want AEW to do is like just be selective though. And the Owen Hart Cup coming up, so I don't know if I'd necessarily do that.
You know, a lot of people they argue like, well, the tournament doesn't matter until like you're at the finals. So like, why should I care about the preliminary matches? It's like, why do you care about playoff football? It's the same
Yeah,
thing. It's
it
single
is.
elimination
I know
on the way to the
you're either
biggest
win or
title.
you move on.
Right. So I care for that reason. It's single elimination.
Yeah. Okay. Jason Michael Campbell says, I like the Hardy Bros as a tag team, but I did not like Jeff Hardy as a singles wrestler. People liked Jeff as a singles wrestler. And, you know, there was something to be said for how over he was back in 2009 when he was like star 2, babyface 2 to John Cena. He was there. And I honestly think you can have another run with him as a singles competitor. And but yeah, right now it's the Hardy Boys. You gotta embrace them Hardy, man.
Dom, just a little bit later, Jason Michael Campbell just shitting on you for your decision to make Sting a champion.
They have a 62-year-old as AEW World Champion. Boy, that'll put a lot of butts in the seats. Not. I mean, he's old, but he's a legend. And how they positioned him is he's been fucking unstoppable. Like, so.
I think on paper it sounds like a lot of fun, but I think in reality it wouldn't work.
I think it would work. It would work because you would get buzz about it, and
you also open up the door for WWE to just be like, yeah, I mean, they had, over there on that channel, they've got a 62-year-old champ. You know, here it's about the future, not the past.
Has it been though with WWE? It has not.
But they can make that bullshit argument then.
You know, but either promotion will do that one way or another.
Yeah, I'm. You know, as much as I was for it last week, I don't know that I like the idea of Sting as champion. And like I said, it necessitates more singles matches. I don't think that his bump card's got enough left on it for that.
You cannot stand behind your own statements, can you?
I'm backing out, Dom. Backing away slowly.
Cowardly. Here we go. So the Jericho Appreciation Society, Marcus. He renamed Matt Lee and Jeff Parker, Angelo, and then Daddy Magic, we got cooking.
I don't think I caught that.
I didn't catch it either, but then later on I read it. And I was recapping the show too. So, but yes, he renamed them. But then also, they refer to themselves as sports entertainers. Speaking of WWE, Marcus, you turned to me at that moment while we were watching, and you're like, "What do you think of this?" I was like, "I'm kind of unsure right now. I don't know."
It's such a 2022 way to get heat. It made me laugh just because it's like, just imagine somebody trying to get heat in that way back in like 1992. It's like it wouldn't work, you know, because people would be like, well, what are we talking about here, sports entertainers? Because back then, it was still the World Wrestling Federation. They use the word wrestling on their program a lot. So now all of a sudden it's like this new buzzword, and people talk about the difference between wrestling and sports entertainment, which, by the way, there is none. So it's I thought it was kind of a fun idea as far as like a way to get heat. I don't know that it's going to get as much heat as they intend to.
I think it will. I mean, you look at the AEW fan base, it's more, you know, wrestling oriented, and how people perceive wrestling is their own way. But I mean, like, wrestling is part of the key of that, all elite wrestling.
Dom, I'm with John Howard here. Why leave one faction and start another one too fast? I agree, but I do see why they did it. I think the reason why is that Jericho, while it would be fun to see him on a singles run, just like it would be fun to see Sting as champion, while it would be fun to see him on a singles run, the problem is that he needs somebody to take bumps for him. And those young guys that he's paired himself with are going to be his bump takers. They're going to be the guys that, if you want to get a Jericho for the pay-per-view match, you got to come through these guys. So that, I think that's the idea.
And I think it's kind of neat in the way that Seinfeld had the Bizarro Seinfeld people. This is like Bizarro Jericho Inner Circle. You have Matt Lee and Jeff Parker in the Santana Ortiz role. You have Daniel Garcia as Sammy Guevara, and then you just have Jake Hager, same person. But yes, Jake is Jake.
Honestly, like it was one of those, and I'm not shitting on any of the performers. I think they're all talented, but like it was one of those moments where I'm just like, he reading this right now, I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Seeing this on the scroll and having you talk about it didn't stick out for me. It wasn't memorable. To me, it was just like, oh, okay, he's a heel. Oh, he's using sports entertainment to get some heat. That whole WWE reference thing again. So I was just like, okay, yeah, there it was. So yeah, I'm taking a long way around to say it didn't really mean much to me.
All right. Well, I think there's some intrigue to it, especially once you get Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz in the mix again. I think the promo barbs that you'll get between Eddie and Jericho further. I'm looking forward to seeing the development of Daniel Garcia. Like, I think that was really important for Garcia. I think he's going to be the talent that benefits the most from this.
That is a big piece of what they're doing, by the way.
Yes.
Make no mistake.
Yeah, and getting Jericho to interact and coach him in a lot of ways, I think is very important because they signed Garcia, and he's been talked about and utilized since he basically came into AEW. So I think this is the main reason crux for this whole angle and everything like that, is just to get Daniel Garcia over in a lot of ways.
Dom John is asking whatever happened to Elijah Burke. You did an interview with him not too long ago, right?
Yes, I did. The Pope is awesome. He's in NWA, John. He's still cutting promos, still looks great. And yes, he was such a great interview. Like, I talked to him about NWA it was. And basically we talked about title history because he was the national champion, TV champion at that point in time. And I think he was the national title, but really good interview. If you want to check him out, he's on NWA Power.
Dom, is he at NWA tonight in Nashville?
He might be the Crockett Cup. I'm not sure if he is or not. But
by the way,
just returned.
Guys, if you were thinking about the Crockett Cup, Jeff Jarrett is doing his Pick a Fight. That's Pick a Fight, FITE.com. Go to pickafight.com. It's Jeff Jarrett's selection. Of course, Jeff Jarrett is involved this weekend as the special guest enforcer between Matt Cardona and Nick Aldis for the world's title. So yeah, if you're thinking about buying it, go buy the bundle. You'll save $5 on the purchase. So that's Pick a Fight, PickAFITE.com. Go order it, and let me tell you, it's going to be quite an event.
Hey, if you guys are interested too, I'll plug this for the Pope too. He does this Love Alive charity, it's called, for Jacksonville. He just helps like the homeless people in the city of Jacksonville and everything like that. So if you're interested in doing that, just Google Love Alive charity. He also has it on Twitter and stuff like that. And you can just donate any amount you want. And just a good cause to go to, and that's something he's very passionate about. And he does an annual wrestling show there with it too. Duval, it's Brawl in Duval or something to that effect it's called. And so yeah, he does some great work. Awesome promo. And I love the Pope. I would love to see him more in the mainstream mix too.
And yeah, if he's at the Crockett Cup, what a prestigious event to be at. Really,
yeah.
It's
Crockett Cup's fun.
The history behind it, and just the fact that NWA is paying respect to the old school and the way that they do, just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being able to tell somebody that you participate in the Crockett Cup, Dom.
That'd be pretty awesome. Tournament. I know it felt like a big deal too, like a few years ago, too, because the Briscoes were in that one. I want to say that they won or they played the heels at least in it. And it was a fun show to watch. I had a really good time. It was good overall presentation and everything like that. NWA, like those events, they stand out. I just would love to see them kind of position themselves more in a better, prominent, and just make sure, you're just putting yourselves in the best position possible is what I'm looking for. Let's see. Yes, another great talent. The Pope is awesome, John. Tell me too, John, if you ended up watching MLW, because I would love to get your take on that too. You were interested in Lucha Underground aspect. NWA that's what's cool about it, Nish, is the 80s wrestling vibe to it.
They're paying respect to the old Jim Crockett Promotions days, which is really cool. Like even the ring skirts are basically identical. It's really neat. What was really cool is when Ric Flair came and did, he was like the master of ceremonies for NWA event last year. And it was really neat seeing him in that ring with that ring skirt. It was just like, man, history, wrestling history.
And like that, Flair still considers that NWA belt the best there is going. So
he's trying to get it back.
Trying to get it back. Give it back to the Nate. That's what I say.
Yeah. Let's start a hashtag movement, Dom.
Yeah. Hey, Marcus, somebody else that's kind of on that Daniel Garcia route is Wheeler Yuta, it appears. So Wheeler Yuta and Chuck Taylor fought the new team of Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley in tag team action. And they lost, but after the match, Yuta went to shake William Regal's hand, and Regal slaps him.
Slapped the damn taste out of him.
Who else did he slap? He slapped Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. So what does that tell you? Wheeler Yuta might be in the mix of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Mostly because I haven't seen much of Wheeler Yuta. I've seen him do some jobs. Which they say you can learn more from somebody by watching them do jobs, which I agree. However, I think I saw him do a job a month ago. It was like and yes, he was on Dynamite, and it seems like a capable performer. But the point I'm trying to work toward is that I don't see enough of him to have developed an opinion on.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I never heard him talk yet, or if I have, I don't remember it, on AEW programming. So, I mean, I think there's something that needs to be said for that too. For you, I think you need to find, again, like kind of like in this NWA vibe, you need to position your stars and who you're building in the right light. So, they're doing that with Daniel Garcia. Let's make this a little maybe more quicker with you, Wheeler Yuta.
Again, it feels like Wheeler Yuta is like the idea is that you bring him in with those guys so that like he's sort of like he can absorb the heat from on the way to somebody working with Mox or Bryan Danielson. You know what I mean? Where it's like maybe he gets attacked, beat down, whatever.
I don't know, but Mark, I think it's more so Mox, Garcia, Mox, Danielson, and Regal are all kind of going to be in that Jericho kind of role for him, where like they're building.
I'm trying to elevate him, and
yes.
I hope he does. What I've seen of him, he seems like a really good performer. So let's see what he's got with a little more spotlight on him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I would like to see them kind of gradually get a couple more guys under the wing, like Lee Moriarty, people like that. But you gotta, and heck, if you're aligned up with William Regal, that guy knows what the hell he's doing. So it's just like
I think I would have really liked to have seen Daniel Garcia in that group.
I'm not. You know what? I'd much rather Daniel Garcia be where he's at because, I think the mic work is important. The mic work's very important, and being with Jericho, like Jericho brought everything out of Sammy Guevara too, like that we see in a lot of ways, and like helped him develop who he is as an AEW persona. So I'm very, very confident Jericho can do that too now with Daniel Garcia. So Wheeler Yuta, I think if I remember, I do remember him like talking before. He's got a great voice from what I remember. So
let's see what he's got. I'm interested.
Yeah, me too, man. Let's see. John, I did not take a look at Ultimate Dragon, but after we talked about it, it did kind of jog my memory a little bit more. I do remember.
I think I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Oh, cool. You did watch it. Great show. Reminds me of the good XC. Yes, exactly. Because it's 1 hour.
Sorry to interrupt. A little bit earlier, he said, I watched a little bit of it, big Samoan dude. And one guy you told me to look up, Hammer, Alex Hammerstone, Dom's boy, Hammer, boy Hammer.
My boy Hammer. Hammer.
Yeah, boy Alex Hammerstone, just a savage of a guy.
Yeah,
he's like, he looks like Scott Steiner mixed with. I'm trying to
Triple H.
Yes, perfect. It's like Scott Steiner and Triple H had a baby. It's Alex Hammerstone, and he's just, he's fun. He's got a good personality. He's their flag bearer right now, and I think that guy's going to move on and become a monster star.
Yeah, as he should. He's great. He will become a monster star, and if he's the flag bearer for MLW, like he's gonna help put them more on the map too. So.
Just for funsies, Dom, if he all of a sudden jumped over to AEW, I could see him in the world title picture instantly.
Oh, and that's how you should position somebody like that, is immediately put them right where they're supposed to be, Hey, also, looks like we got a little alliance happening between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. And that's all occurred on Rampage, which I did not watch. And Marcus, we do got to watch that because, I mean, the Butcher is in singles action. So it's something we do have to catch. But I do like this alliance here of Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee. Two talented wrestlers, both different looks. But they're going. It's looking like they're going to go up against Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, and I think that's fucking great.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of fun to be sure. Not the pairing I would have liked to have seen for Swerve, as I had mentioned last week. I think Ric Flair could have helped upgrade him. Just imagine Swerve with like his gold teeth with fucking Ric Flair. That would have been good shit.
There's good shit.
And again, like I had said, it's you get Ric Flair on the program, and all of a sudden people are tuning in to see Ric Flair, and it exposes people to people like Swerve Strickland, not to mention the other talent on the program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would have liked to have seen that. However, I do think that him and Keith Lee is pretty fun.
Yeah, it'll be a fun ride, and even if it's just a short alliance where they're like just friends that tag up once in a while, like almost like an Eddie and Mox thing, I would be all for that too. So. Yeah. And it's cool. And Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs are good counterparts to that. It's going to be great.
Fun.
It's going to be a lot.
Great.
Marcus, we had a little bit of a follow-up here. So what happened? Scorpio Sky retained that TNT championship against Wardlow. Great move. I thought the way they executed it, too, was very well done. And, we got a feud between MJF and Wardlow. And plus, America Top Team is in the mix, too. What'd you think of all that going down with the match, and then Wardlow and how he was positioned ultimately?
It worked for me, brother. Yeah, I thought it was well done, and obviously, as you and I said, if you're gonna put Scorpio Sky in that position initially by putting the TNT belt on him, it's like, hey, give him a chance to see what he can do. So if you beat him in like a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, you're not doing anybody any favors. You're not doing the guy who beats him any favors because he just won it, so it doesn't really mean as much to take it off of him. And you're not doing him any favors certainly by giving him a belt and then saying, okay, that was fun. Next,
Yep. Kind of look at it too. I'm thinking about like Diesel when he had a run with the Intercontinental title. He was a heel, though, at that point, still like the enforcer for Shawn Michaels. You had him turn babyface, and maybe they did a little quick, but it was unexpected when he did win that title against Bob Backlund. So, I mean, you got to just pick and choose your moments of it,
Him turning babyface, no bueno.
Yeah, they had to make if they were going to do that, they had to let Nash be Nash, right?
I mean, that's why people started liking him in the first place. He was getting all this fan support because he was this big, scary monster, badass heel. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, put on the sweater and sing Christmas carols. It's like, it doesn't work, dude. It doesn't work.
Nope. Definitely not going to work. Nesha says she loves Swerve Scott. Yeah, I do too. I think he's awesome. Yeah, Nesha, you got to watch MLW. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Love it. It's such an easy hour of wrestling television that you can really attach and get connected to characters, whether you hate them or like them. So,
Nesha then said it was too early for Sammy to lose the belt. Do you agree with that?
No, I think he's fine now. I think the TNT title did its job for Sammy Guevara. And, now I think you can move on to have him feud, whether that's with, Jericho's new faction or somebody else in general. I think I would like to see him just go off on his own and kind of carve his own niche. And it's looking like that. He's going to go maybe against, Paige Van Zandt and Ty Conte are mixing it up. Maybe he'll mix it up with Scorpio Sky a little bit more too and continue a feud over the TNT championship. Starting off, but yeah,
I mean, to me, it feels like a shoot. Like I kind of agree with Nesha here, Dom, where like, he didn't really have the belt for that long. Then he dropped it to Cody. Then Cody dropped it back. And it's like, it wasn't, again, like if you're going to put a belt on a talent, it's like if you flip flop the belt too much, it becomes the Intercontinental Championship in WWE right now, where it's like, it doesn't mean anything where it used to mean something. And the TNT title, especially because of its legacy with Brody Lee, I think you need to protect it. And I think that when you flip it too often, it's a problem So, like, in theory, to me, Scorpio Sky should hold that belt for 6 months.
Longer. I agree now. Yeah, no, I agree. You should have him go on a lengthy run with it.
Same thing with Sammy Guevara. Should have held the belt for 6 months longer.
My argument for that, like I said last week, is he's one of the few to hold it multiple times. So I think that kind of supplements the longevity of a run in comparison. Now, obviously, you don't want to do that too often. Like Cody held it 3 times, but now you have Sammy hold it multiple times as well. Kind of makes up for him not having as long as run as others. So
yeah, I mean, there's only been 4 total AEW champions thus far in the 2 years that it's been around, or 3 years now that the company's been around. How many TNT champions have there been? There have been a lot.
That's been a lot, but in that light, the TNT title is a television title in a lot of ways. So
it is, but that doesn't mean that you should shit on it by flip flopping it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But it's also like, how many times does that title get defended too? So it's like often, very often.
Yes.
So I think it kind of balances out. Obviously, you don't want to go overboard with it. I think they're still in a fine position where it still means a lot. It's still like holding that belt seems like a big deal.
I got a couple things to say here. One of them has to do with what John Howard has mentioned there. But first, Dom, I think that you can kind of position Sammy Guevara pretty successfully if you were to get that intergender tag team title. Him and Tay Conti, they just look good together on screen, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they look like they should be a couple, and they are. And I think that it would be fun to have intergender. I mean, you could involve Paige Van Zandt and her husband or boyfriend or whoever that dude is. I mean, there's a lot of options. Britt Baker and Adam Cole.
Baby.
How fun would that be? A feud between Adam Cole and Britt Baker versus Sammy and Tay Conti. You know, it could be a lot of fun.
Something that is never really done in a major promotion. So it's like, if you do that, I mean, people liked that. What the fuck was that called that WWE did on that Facebook tag team thing? Can't remember, but they did like intergender tag team, and people were intrigued by that. And like,
it's interesting.
If you create storylines for that, that could be something very, very cool and something that stands out, makes your product stand out. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, be selective with your with what titles you introduce, but if you do it the right way, like, you can make those really mean a lot and be a fun little excursion for people. To mix up, give yourself the ice cream variety of things.
Dom, my next thing I wanted to talk about was what John Howard mentioned. He said, I want to see Scorpio versus Lethal in AEW. And I don't know that I necessarily want to talk about that, although I'd love to see that. Really, what I want to talk about is something that I think it was brought up on WHW this week. What happened when, also on adfreeshows.com. Mm-hmm. But how would you feel about Lethal reprising his Black Machismo role on AEW? Kind of feels like a waste not to do it.
I mean, they're not using him right now that much, so
that's why it would work. All of a sudden, like, this very super compelling, like, this dude who just thinks he's Randy Savage, like that.
You kind of get me into it.
That is a fun, entertaining thing to have on your program.
I think,
and thing is, he doesn't always have to work like Randy Savage. He can bust out the elbow drop and like the punches and all that Randy Savage shtick, but he can still do some of the awesome, fun, dynamic stuff.
Now, would you do it in a way where he's like Finn Balor and the Demon?
No, I think you would just be like Jay Lethal, who's portraying Randy Savage. It's something that really, I mean, it was done on TNA, obviously, but it's something that we haven't seen on like a major stage.
And we haven't seen it in a while. Like, he popped it out, I think, at All Out. And All In, I mean. Yeah.
Honestly, the outfits that he could come out wearing alone are enough to make me want to see it. Because, like, you could have, like, the late 80s Savage with, like, the pink trunks and the stars on his trunks. And then you could have him come out as, like, 1991 Randy Savage. You could have him come out as NWO Randy Savage. There's just, like, somebody. You could have him come out as, like, Bonesaw Randy Savage.
Randy.
There's just so many.
St. Louis Cardinals Randy Savage.
Dude, there's just so many fun options that you can choose from. It's like, it feels like a waste not to do it. And by the way, Dominic, really what they should be going for, what Tony Khan and everybody or whoever's in charge of advertising should be going for, is say, hey, Slim Jim, we've got a guy who does a perfect Randy Savage impersonation. Why don't you join us as a sponsor? Why don't you sponsor us like you used to do with
Hey, remember how you tried to get CM Punk in 2014 to be a Slim Jim sponsor? Well, we got him now for you, right here. Him and Jay Lethal.
Dude, Jay Lethal doing Randy Savage on national TV commercials, it would be monstrous.
Yes. John Howard getting my gears turning here. He said his Ric Flair was fire. Marcus, how would you feel about Ric Flair not managing maybe Swerve, but a Black Machismo Jay Lethal?
Or him managing Ric Flair version of Jay Lethal. I think it would be fun to have Jay Lethal just come out as different legends.
I would know. I think that would kind of dumb it down. We associate him as Black Machismo. So I think if you're going to do it, you do Black Machismo. You don't do Flair. You could have Flair come out and manage him and stuff. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Could be fun. Mm-hmm. I know the Flair absolutely loves his shtick, so it could be a really good time.
All right, here's an interesting thing that I'm always for Lance Archer getting over. I think Lance Hoyt should be the next AEW World Champion, although I don't want Hangman to lose it anytime soon. Marcus, how would you feel about Lance Archer eventually becoming AEW World Champ, and in what kind of light would you have that happen?
I don't see him as champion yet, and it's not because I don't think he's a good performer. I do. I like Lance Hoyt, and I think his presentation is really fascinating. But to me, it's very much in the same vein as it's actually a little bit less than what we're getting with Adam Page right now. You know, I've been saying on the program here a few times that like Adam Page isn't really working as a champion because he's not getting these super juicy, interesting, compelling storylines. Well, you want to talk about not getting super juicy, interesting, compelling storylines? So let's talk Lance Hoyt or Lance Archer. He's not getting them. There's nothing fascinating about his character right now. The most fascinating thing about him is the fact that he looks the way he does. He's a good performer. He's good on the mic, but that's about it.
I love the aspect of him, like just beating the fuck out of somebody, like, you know, him like kicking somebody's ass to the ring on the way to the ring, whether that's an opponent or just some rando. But
tell you what, it was a hard recovery for me after he tore Jake the Snake shirt off his body that one time.
But how great!
Been a long road to recovery for me as far as liking Lance Archer again.
I think, but how they introduced him was so awesome. Where it was like in that like almost Justified-esque Kentucky, almost like backwoods, like open ring, where he was just kicking the shit out of these people, like just beating the shit out of people. And I think there's a lot to go with that. And it's just like, yeah, he's just been like just in and out as a heel or a face. You kind of don't know where he's lining with.
His first match back after injury or whatever, he just does the job. I think. Who did he do the job for? I can't remember.
Was it Hangman in the program with Hangman you're talking about?
He returned from injury. And then it's just he instantly does the job, and then it's like, well, okay, see you on Elevation or whatever. Like there's just nothing. Look, again, I like Lance Archer. Dom, you and I met him in Chicago. Very, very friendly dude. Huge guy. Great look. Like there's a lot of value to Lance Archer.
I love Lance Archer. I think he should be a world champion. But John Howard says he should go to ROH. I'd be fine with that. And we talked about that last week, I think.
Well, look, it would open up. Oh, my wife's coming down to take a dump again. I'm just kidding.
She likes that.
No, yeah, she wasn't pleased. Well, yeah, look, I mean, if it opens up more lanes, so to speak, and presents more opportunities for a compelling storyline to be told with him, then I'm 100% all for it. Let's do it. But until then, no, I don't see him being TNT champion right now, Dominic. Let alone world champion.
I think you have to really focus on him and make him like cultivate a good story and include Jake. If you want to keep Jake with him, but include him and put them in that right position. I think this is just a big Achilles heel right now for AEW in general with their stars. Is like you got to get the focus on there. Hopefully, introducing ROH as a brand will do that. Where you get that opportunity to kind of like get things going. Now, this leads perfectly into what Stephen Chambers is asking here.
I'm back glad now. You addressed this, Dom. Wanted to keep
I'm back now. Quick question. Joey Janela contract expires May 1st, and AEW will not re-sign him. Janela believes he is injured Kingston super kick. His eye reason is why he's not staying.
It's not ballet.
It's not ballet. I don't think that's necessarily the thing. I think that's just they know they have a surplus of talent, and that they know that like Joey Janela was one of their starter guys that came into it. But you need to, again, you just need to. You're assigning a whole bunch of talent. You got to remove yourself from a lot of talent, unfortunately. And I just think you got to make those decisions, and as tough and difficult as those can be sometimes, like Joey Janela. He's a good guy that got people in the position to move on, but and I like Joey Janela. I think he's got a good personality and stuff like that. But like GCW is like his bag, man, and I think that's just kind of you have to make that decision of like what you want your brand and identity to be like. And I think Joey Janela, somebody that you could bring back into the rotation here and there to make appearances or whatever. But it's just like. You got to be selective of who you choose. And Joey Janela's had a run, and like his contract's expiring, so it's just like that's just the name of the game.
Especially with more talent coming in, it just makes sense to let him go. But look, I don't believe for a second that hitting somebody with a stiff super kick would get you removed from a program. Like how many stiff, nasty, accidental shots have we seen on TV? Or on purpose shots where somebody's trying to get busted open the hard way. We've seen all that stuff for a long time. That's the saying in wrestling, right? It's not ballet, and it's going to happen. It'll continue to happen. For the rest of the history of wrestling, people are going to get potatoed and take super kicks right to the mouth. So yeah, I don't believe that for a second. Really, he's suffering from the same issue that I was just talking about with Lance Archer, where there's only so much TV time and there's so much talent. When's the last time you saw Joey Janela on Dynamite?
It's been a while.
It's been a long while. So even while he was under contract, they're not using him. And by the way, it's all guaranteed money now. So he's getting paid 52 weeks a year. And appearing on Dynamite, I haven't seen him in maybe a year. I would say at least 6 months for sure.
As a viable, identity or whatever on there.
Right. He's coming out for Dark or Elevation or whatever, but your national TV program, we're not seeing him, but he's still making a paycheck. So it's, it's simple business. If you're not using somebody in your business, and you're paying them well, it's like, well, where can we cut costs? How about that guy that we're not using that we're giving money to?
I think too is like it's going to be a lot of feelings and like where we're gonna you got to see talent move on in certain ways, and like we're gonna see a lot of talent that does move on that we're gonna be like, oh man, they were underutilized, or like I wish they would have done something with this person or this gal or guy, or it's gonna be kind of bittersweet in a lot of ways to see some of these talents move on. But like wrestling's wrestling. The landscape is different now, where it's like you can still be a viable force on the independent scene and make a decent living. You look at what Effie does and some other stars like that really, Matt Cardona, what he's doing and everything, you got to position yourself in that light, and that takes a lot of work and a lot of hustle. But, there's still stuff for that, but, it's going to be a weird seeing a lot of these talents move on, but it's just a necessity part of the business, especially when you have this much talent on your roster,
No question. Don, we got to wrap this thing up.
We do got to wrap this up. Bring back Killer Elite SWAT. That's a great idea too, Steven Chambers. Davey Boy Smith and Lance Archer. I think that's a good way to get him kicking again.
Could be a good way to use him.
Very awesome. That would be awesome. AEW, bring in Enzo.
I like it.
Marcus.
And his next thing there, between Kingston and Enzo, those two lighting each other up on the mic.
My gosh, that would be great. That would be great. Marcus, they're fighting the Hardys coming up here at Northeast Wrestling. Enzo and Cass.
Well, that's a blast.
Fucking cool. You got to look online and see Enzo cut a promo on the Hardys. It's good shit.
No doubt about it.
John, again, MLW, Enzo's in that, and he cuts a fantastic promo. Not this week, but the episode before. You have to watch it. Really, really good. I love Enzo. I would love to see him. I think he's got a great look. Plenty of talent aren't amazing in the ring. So there's room for everybody in that regard.
His mic work more than makes up for any downside he has in the ring.
Absolutely. Enzo he's great. He's awesome. I would love to see him in the mix again. I think there's a lot of money in Enzo still. So yes, I agree with you, John, and several other people do too. April agrees with you as well as Nesha. So we got that cooking on here. Marcus, before we go, I got to ask you this. As an homage to Scott Hall, in a perfect world, say if he was signed by AEW, everything was in good manners, state and everything like that, who would you have him manage?
Enzo Amore.
Okay, I'm saying AEW roster member though.
That's what I'm saying. Bringing Scott and Enzo Amore with Scott as his manager.
Okay, I'm saying current talent here, Mark.
Enzo. No, well,
who would benefit the most having Scott? Come out. We will, or her. Could be that too.
I don't know. Who do you got? Look, to me, it's got to be somebody who fits his personality, and that's why I selected Enzo. As he's just perfect for it. Now, as far as somebody who's still in AEW, I mean, the only person
you got to think of somebody with a mic that might need a mic piece. I would think somebody that would need or mouthpiece, and just somebody that could very much get the rub from a legacy talent. They can. How about this? How about Ruby Soho?
That could be fun.
I think that'd be real fun.
Yeah,
Ruby Soho would be a great one.
Yeah, I think that could work.
Mm-hmm. And she's good on the mic too, but I think
I wouldn't hate seeing him with Andrade El Idolo.
That'd be pretty good.
As Razor, which wouldn't work because they don't have the copyright.
Don't have the copyright. That would be pretty sweet though.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, I'm trying to think real quick too who could maybe work with him.
I'm going with Andrade El Idolo.
Okay, I'm going Ruby Soho. I think that'd be sweet.
All right, let's wrap it.
All right,
I got
Marcus.
Yes.
You were dropping some shameless plugs throughout the evening here.
Yes.
Why don't you do it another one? Let's see what's going on here at After Shows.
Yeah, I mean, you guys heard us talking about going to Dallas. It's Super Show Live, baby. So, I mean, obviously, Ad Free Shows has got all the podcasts, early and ad free, additional content, bonus episodes. You get to talk to all of the hosts on Ad Free Shows. Like something like once a month, we'll do we've got an Ask Arn coming up where you can talk to Arn Anderson live. A ton of fun stuff going on over there. So you got to check out adfreeshows.com. Go to adfreetrial.com if you're on the fence, for crying out loud. Just see what's going on. And check out supershowlive.com. With Dominic and I are going to be there. We're going to be in Dallas. We're going to be working that event. So come by, say hello, go get your tickets right now. VIP tickets are available. And by the way, if you get the super VIP, you get backstage passes. You get to hang out with all the talent, have some drinks. Matt Hardy is going to sign an exclusive with a Fight TV card. I'm sorry, Jeff Hardy is going to sign an exclusive card that you can't get anywhere else. We're also going to have people there grading those cards on site. So they'll slap it for you. And all of a sudden, you've got something you're probably going to want to stick in a safe. So yeah, check out supershowlive.com. And if you're in Dallas, come say hi. We're going to be there. We're going to be at WrestleCon. It's going to be good times.
Yeah. Hey, hang with us. We'll have a drink with you or whatever,
No doubt.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to being in Texas.
Tom, what do you got?
Well, speaking of Ad Free Shows, I have a new little shindig going on over there at Ad Free Shows.
Oh, yes, you do.
So if you are, Marcus, what level would you have to be at to get access to this? Would this just be the $9 a month?
Any level. Sign up at adfreeshows.com.
So if you guys are interested, the incentive here is me. I'm doing this day in history every day. So
Dominic, I'm sorry to interrupt you. April earlier said Scott Hall with Sammy Guevara. I could see it.
I thought about that too. I thought that was it. He came across my mind. I like him, the dynamic with him with a young woman wrestler. I think that'd be really cool. But
go on, Dom.
Yeah, but so I do this day in history, and how I do it, it comes through your email if you're a Patreon, and I have one major topic of this day in history that I cover, and then I give you two other things. Another person from Ad Free Shows. What's his name on Twitter, Marcus? He's one of our social media guys. But
you're talking about a wrestling historian?
Yes, a wrestling historian. So he curates a lot of the things, and then I write about them. So it's a good tag team combination there. So you'll get that every day in your email at adfreeshows.com. As far as WrestleZone, all right, this is a big thing. If you have the opportunity, I'd love if you got to read my Scott Hall editorial that I just wrote. It's about him leaving his legacy and making one cool love story for pro wrestling. So it's just my tribute to Scott Hall. One of the things I'm really happy about writing, and felt honored to write about him. And so it mean a lot if you read it for him. But as far as anything else goes, yes, if you can, subscribe to Two Dynamite Dudes on a Rampage on your iTunes or on your Spotify, and give us a 5-star review. Now, you will see recently that some of our recent episodes are not on there. I'm going to get them up there, including this one. And so if you write a review, 5 stars, heck, if we get up to 10 reviews on there via iTunes, Spotify, we'll do a little giveaway here. I'll be happy to do a little giveaway and get something out to one of you guys or gals, so, but just go type in Two Dynamite Dudes on a Rampage. It's going to be old episodes at this point, but write us a review, get things kicking. And then, hey, send us a screenshot, send me a screenshot on Twitter. We'll get stuff going there. As far as anything else goes, check out The Extreme Life with Matt Hardy. Recent episode, Jeff Hardy is on there. And he opens up. Really cool. You will love this interview. I'm telling you, it's a must listen, must watch. Jeff is just completely open, and Matt's just there right with them, and they're chatting like brother. I was texting Marcus as it was getting recorded. It's like these two remind me of me and you, man, and it's cool to see. So give that a check out. As far as WrestleZone goes, we got some good stuff kicking up on there. Always has the interview stuff rolling with Bill. He's doing some good stuff, and Colin Tessier is keeping on up to date too with everything. So give a look at WrestleZone.com. Follow me on Twitter at Dominic DeAngelo. Follow WrestleZone on Twitter at WrestleZone.com or WrestleZone.com. You can go to WrestleZone.com for all wrestling news. Marcus, social media wise, it's at Marcus.
Follow me at Marcus P. DeAngelo. Follow ad-free shows at ad-free shows. And guys, thanks for joining us again this week. Dom, we're on a little roll here.
Oh yeah, we're cooking. Yeah, that's just keeping us in line. So it's all working out here. It's all working out.
That's why I do it. I don't want to get chastised.
I know. I'm always. Even when we were absent, she was like, "Hey, when's the show happen? What's going on here?"
Well, we're back, baby.
Keeping us in check.
But okay, guys, we will see you next week right here on Two Dynamite Dudes with Attitude on a Rampage. Whatever it is, we'll catch you next time.
One more for the good guy.